Welcome to our November 1st board meeting. Please join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Here.
Councilman McCarthy. Here. Councilwoman Norris.
Here.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Here.
Councilman Lohman.
Here. Okay, we will begin. First, I'd like to welcome Councilman Lohman, who just got back from successful surgery, so thank you for attending the board meeting this afternoon.
Glad to be here.
I'm glad everything went well.
They woke me up.
We will begin sitting as Board of Water Commissioners. Deputy Clerk.
We have the minutes of October 4th, and there's two resolutions. The first is for the receiver of taxes to include a levy on the 2022-23 tax bill for unpaid water charges against various property owners in the Smithtown and St. James Water District. And the second is pursuant to Town Code Section 312.12 and 312.12.1, not subsection B, and in accordance with the increase by the Suffolk County Water Authority of the rate it charges to the Smithtown and St. James Water District effective January 1st, 2023, the water rates will increase to $2.68 per 1,000 gallons from the existing rate of $2.56, along with the already existing $20 quarterly water quality treatment charge.
Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Norris.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes. Reconvening as Town Board, we'll move to the agenda.
On correspondence, we have the Nissaquag VFW Post 5796 Veterans Day Parade on Friday, November 11th, from 9:30 till approximately 12 p.m. And there is 4 public hearings on the agenda today. The first is to consider proposed amendments to Chapter 32212 entitled Zoning regarding accessory structures, and Peter Hans from the Planning Department will present the changes.
Good afternoon, Supervisor and members of the board. I provided each of you with a handout that kind of better explains what the code amendment is. This was requested several years ago, and through assistance with the town attorney's office and the building department, we're recommending modification of this code. This is meant for a lot of long, narrow lots, which are also known as bowling alley lots. And if you're following along with the handout, you'll see in yellow where accessory structures such as swimming pools and sheds and accessory garages are permitted. The problem is when you have a long, deep lot, you're required to abide by side yard setbacks. That could be as much as 24 feet in a 1 acre zoning district. What we're doing is we're modifying it to basically say that you only have to meet the side yard requirements that you would in a typical rear yard as long as the structure's 25 feet away. I don't really have much more to say about that. Does the board have any questions?
No.
I
This is
don't.
by the board.
No.
Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard on this public hearing? Being none, I will move to close the hearing.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
I just
Councilman
wanted to
McCarthy.
say, I'm sorry, that it should significantly reduce variance requests as well, so.
That's a good thing.
Thank you.
All right. Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Norris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
Okay, the second hearing is for proposed amendments to Chapter 32218 entitled Zoning regarding application fees, and Janice Hanson from the Town Attorney's Office is here to present the amendment.
Good afternoon, Supervisor and members of the Town Board. The purpose of this hearing is to consider an amendment that would change the filing fee for a site plan or exemption application under Section 32288D8. The amendment would add a town engineer inspection fee of 6% of applicable fees for commercial site plans. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my presentation on that.
Any questions by the board?
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard on this public hearing? In case, I'll move to close the hearing.
Second.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Motion to adopt the hearing.
Second.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
The next public hearing is to consider amendments to Chapter 23320 entitled Shellfish regarding penalties for offenses, and Martin Simon from the Town Attorney's Office will present the amendments.
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor, members of the Town Board. The purpose of today's third public hearing is the modification of Chapter 233 of the Town Code entitled Shellfish. And what we're doing here, or at least what the proposal is to increase all the penalties across the board in the entire section. The board should know that what precipitated this modification was we've seen an almost seven-fold increase in the number of summonses issued pursuant to this chapter from 2020 till 2022. So we got together with public safety, we took a look at the numbers, we saw that this is getting worse and worse. So we're hoping that on the enforcement end, this is gonna help and maybe discourage further violation of this section. Does the board have any questions?
Questions by the board?
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience wish to be heard on this public hearing?
Thank you.
Being none, move to close the hearing. Thank you, Counselor.
Second.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
And the last hearing is to consider proposed local law 322, amendments to Chapter 113 of the Town Code entitled Notice and Certificate of Assessment. And Janice Hanson will describe the amendments.
Good afternoon again. As you will recall, on October 4th at the Town Board meeting, I presented a public hearing regarding a proposed amendment to Section 133-6 of the code. Due to an issue with the advertisement for the initial hearing, we're just holding a rehearing for this local law that's proposed today. Again, it would amend 113.6 of the code to include commercial structures and would require payment for a statement upon issuance of a certificate of occupancy or certificate of compliance from the assessor's office of a fee of $150 for new homes and a fee of $65 for any other accessible residential improvement, as well as a $500 fee for new commercial projects and a fee of $100 for any other commercial accessible improvement. Unless there are questions, that concludes that.
Any questions by the board? Anyone in the audience wish to be heard in this public hearing? Being none, I move to close.
Second.
Supervisor Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Supervisor Wareham.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Okay, the town board to authorize the town clerk to advertise for 4 public hearings, all to be held at Town Hall on Thursday, November 17, 2022, at 2 o'clock. The first is to consider proposed amendments to Chapter 248, subdivision of land as it relates to fees and procedures. And the next 3 are regarding Chapter 322 zoning. The first is as it relates to fees and procedures, the second is as it relates to Board of Appeals procedure, and the last is how it relates to site plan review fees.
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareham.
Yes.
Consent agenda controller number 1 to 20, and resolutions 1 to 6, and the minutes of 10:19 and 10:20.
Is there anyone on the council that wishes to remove any resolutions from the consent agenda?
Nothing.
No thanks.
Mr. Clerk?
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareham.
Yes.
Authorize the town clerk to advertise for bid 22-106, purchase of replacement dock floats.
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noah.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareham.
Yes.
Award the following bids and authorize the purchase of associated goods and services. 2299, a 6-wheel truck with options to truck incorporated. 22100, precast concrete drainage items to Pelkowski Precast Corporation. 22101 for recycling of electronic waste to E Green Recycling Management LLC. And the last is 2284, janitorial supplies to Amity Vacuum Incorporated and APCO Paper and Plastics Corporation.
Councilman Lohman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Warehan.
Yes.
The town board to approve the following. Adoption of the 2023 preliminary budget for which a public hearing was held on October 20th, 2022. The next three resolutions are for extensions of bids. The first is 2063 for refuse removal from town properties with Winter Brothers and National Waste Services. 2098 hazardous household waste program with Radiac Environmental Services. And 2195 for office cleaning with NV Maintenance Services. The next is a renewal of a computer hardware maintenance agreement with Electronic Risk Consultants for specific servers and printers. A sole source pricing agreement for genuine repair parts with Roto Chopper Incorporation. The rejection of all proposals received October 20th in connection with bid 2293 for the replacement floating docks. A ratification of the execution by the town supervisor of a stipulation of settlement in lieu of Section 75 proceeding against employee 4106 on a form approved by the town attorney. A renewal of the agreement with Bonato Group to perform independent auditing and accounting services related to 2022. Amendment to 2022 Highway Road Program to add Holly Lane in Fort Salonga. Amend a Marine Law Permit 2017-2 in accordance with the conditions as recommended in a memo from the Environmental Protection Director, and direct the town clerk to issue the permit amendment. The private plower rates for hired equipment for snow removal and other highway department work effective December 1st, 2022 through November 30th, 2023. A third-party collateral agreement with the tax receiver as the depositor, Dime Community Bank as the depository bank, and Manufacturer and Trader Trust Company as the custodian. Approve a contract of sale and any necessary supporting documents concerning the town's proposed sale of surplus real property consisting of 2 lots on the south side of, the southerly side of Isabella Avenue and Orester Street, for a sale price of $10,650, subject to permissive referendum. And the last resolution is an acquisition of real property consisting of a portion of a land at 18 Hillcrest Drive, for which the town of Smithtown currently has an easement interest. Such property reputedly owned by Lee Pettit for road widening purposes.
Councilman Lohman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Warehan.
Yes.
Authorize the acceptance of a check donation from Alexandra DiGiorgio for $200 to the animal shelter.
Councilman Lohman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Warehan.
Yes.
Authorize the supervisor to execute the following resolutions on a form approved by the town attorney. A donation agreement for the town to accept donations of multiple memorial benches to be placed at various town parks. An Optum Health enrollment renewal for Horizons participation as a Medicaid provider.
Councilman Lohman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Warehan.
Yes.
And personnel items 1 to 6 as described on the agenda.
Councilman Lohman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareham.
Yes. We'll move to the public participation section. Do we have any?
We have 2 speakers. The first is Tom Aiello.
Okay, before we start, public participation is subject to the rules of decorum, which you have on your speaker card, section 76.7. The public portion is for town-related matters only. Any unsubstantiated, unverified, or material false information will be interrupted. 3-minute rule will be in effect. When you hear the tone, that means you have 1 minute left to sum up your statement. Please address the board.
Good afternoon, board. My name is Good afternoon, board. My name is Tom Aiello. I live at 19 Hillcrest Drive. My question is regarding the easement of 18 Hillcrest Drive, the road widening. Is that something that the town plans on doing, or it's just on the survey? Is it something in the future that needs to be done? Was it contingent for the home being built at 18 Hillcrest? Just all sorts of questions regarding the easement.
If you want to wait till after the meeting, I can address those with you.
We've had discussions about it this morning with the town attorney's office, so if you'll stay after
Sure.
and see Mr. Jakubowski, he'll guide you through it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And the second is Michael Benavito.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Bonaghetto. I live at 98 Mowood Drive in Smithtown. And my reason being here is the bring up conditions of the roadway in my neighborhood, Mowood Drive and Plymouth Boulevard. The conditions of the roads are pretty bad. And the missing trees that line the roadways, the town trees, there are about, in my estimate, like on Mowood Drive alone, 72 homes that don't have trees. Over the years, they've died and they've fallen down. And it just takes away the aesthetic value of the neighborhood. I mean, I grew up there. I came out there in 1962. I was there when these trees were put in. It was just an actually beautiful neighborhood. You go down the roadway, it'd be like a canopy across the roadway. And I think it just takes away from the aesthetic value of your neighborhood. One of our most expensive things we own are our homes, and you want to keep it up. And I think we all feel the same way. And that's really, I have some photos if anybody would like them.
Sure. Yes, would you turn them into the clerk?
Yes.
Do you have the addresses and everything there too?
I do, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll consult with the highway department on that this week.
And just so you know, I did reach out to Highway and DEW in the past, but they said they didn't have a budget for this. This is the only reason I came here.
Okay, we'll look into it.
All right, thank
And you have your contact information in there as well?
I do not, yes, I think I wrote on the back of it. I do. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's all? Okay, then I will move to close the meeting.
Supervisor Wareham.
Yes?
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Loman.
Yes. Okay, thank you, everybody, for attending.